Good morning, women on the rise. Today I am talking with the gorgeous Joanne Wu. I'm just going to literally, as I'm here, I want to make sure that I am showing up and you can all see me. If you're hopping on, if you can see me, say hello, because I don't normally go live on my phone sideways. Hi Katerina, can you see me okay? Am I sideways or am I the right way up? Let's just double check that before we bring Joanne on and we get started. I'm just trying to see. I'm trying to make sure we're all set up properly because I don't want to be talking to you all and invite Joanne on and then it not be working. So, good morning. This is going to be, once we get past the technical problems, there we go. I can see me. We're the right way around. Fantastic. Okay, gorgeous. So, happy Wednesday. What I've been wanting to do here for quite a long time, I've got so many gorgeous, incredible women that I work with who are doing beautiful, beautiful things in the world. And I really want to give you a chance to see some of them and hear their stories and hear about the gorgeous businesses that they're building and the work that they're doing in the world. So today we're going to have a Woman on the Rise series. I am going to bring on the gorgeous Joanne Wu. We're going to hear all about her business, what she's doing in the world, what her vision is, what fantastic things she's working on right now, and I'm also going to get her to share a little bit of her backstory about why this business came about and why she's so passionate about it and all those other things. So let's see. I'm hoping and praying that the tech will let me do this. Bring Joanne Wu on camera, yes please. Is this gonna work? Fingers crossed everybody. Sometimes this works.
Hello.
Yay.
Okay.
It's working. Welcome.
Hello.
Joanne, it's awesome to have you here. There's lots of people with us. Fab. Can you hear my repeat?
No, it's just you.
It's just me being in my echo, is it? Okay, I'm going to do my best to do all the echo that's happening. Everyone else can hear it, that's all good. So Joanne, welcome. Why don't you start? So, maybe I should say this first. Joanne's business is emergency without drama, along with some of the things that she's got. She's a talented woman, more than one business actually, but they all tie together, don't they?
They absolutely do.
Yeah.
All about that.
So, would you like to tell people a little bit about what emergency without the is and what the name about? What's about the name?
Yeah, I love a bit of wordplay because I used to be a teacher in my past life, and I was an English specialist, so I had to do a bit of wordplay in there. But I suppose it helps to say a bit about why I got into it, because that's why I wanted emergency. I suppose it's all about basically people emerging into the person they really want to be and that higher version of themselves. And it is an emergency because I know it's an emergency after my personal experience to be where you need to be. You know, there's nothing greater than growth. And I think I try and give it to everybody. Not everyone wants it, but I try and say how important growth is and personal development is, and finding yourself is, emerging as your true version of yourself, because it's just so important to have a happy, healthy life. So that's
so everyone else here. My feedback. So I'm going to go and get my headphones, but that's not a problem. While I'm doing that, why don't you tell me about your personal journey that led you to why you're so passionate about women doing that personal growth and stepping into their power?
Absolutely. So I'm not going to go right back, but I'm going to take you back to my 30th birthday party. And I had that birthday party a little bit in the sin of pride, because I thought I had everything sorted. I thought I'd cracked everything, to be honest. I was married to my childhood sweetheart, had 2 beautiful girls. I was a successful teacher, and I thought I was a really good one. I know I was a really good one. And I did a Strictly Come Dancing themed party, which is really in tune with what I do now, just to show everyone how well I'd done. But not long after that, everything pretty much crumbled around me. And I realised that I'd been living a bit of a fairy tale. And my husband had an affair. I found out my husband had been having an affair. And it took us 2 years of kind of trying to sort things out before it all fell apart properly. But I pinned all of who I was on being that beautiful wife, the doting wife, the supportive wife, the mother, and that romance, that idea of romance in my head, the ideal. And so when that crashed around me, I was only left with my teaching, really. And so I just put everything and ploughed everything into that. I really struggled because putting so much into it, I made myself really, really poorly. On top of that, I had a change of management, and I was so eager to impress this new head teacher, new deputy, that I was working even harder and making myself really poorly. Unfortunately, they didn't see the same value in me as my other previous head teachers, and so that really, really hurt my self-esteem, and the only bit of my identity I had left, again, just went. So I was no longer the great wife in my head. I was no longer that great wife. I was no longer the great teacher, and I just had motherhood left. And I became really hard, and I became really strong, mentally strong. But I put myself like a barrier in front of myself, and I started to feel very weak being in that feminine role because I've been taken advantage of. I was in quite an abusive relationship, although I didn't realise it at the time. But as I grew and left teaching because it was so damaging to me, I joined a company called Arbonne, who were very strong on personal development, and that has helped me emerge to be where I am right now. And what I realised, because the business itself has emerged as well, actually, it's funny that that name is used because it started off just about helping women who had lost themselves and didn't know who they were, because that's where I was at. And I wanted to help women after trauma, personal trauma, relationship trauma, suffering job losses and things like that, their world had just crumbled and crashed. But soon I realised it was pretty much more about my femininity, and that I needed to step back into that person, the feminine person that I used to be. And I was looking at role models and the people I really wanted to be like were owning their femininity. They were owning their soft side. They were owning the fact that they were a supportive wife. They were owning the fact that they were loving mothers. They were owning that gentle, soft side of them. And that's the bit I loved about myself when I was in that old me, that old version of me. And it still was in there. I just had to surrender and bring it out. And that's what my business really has turned into, about helping people find their whole woman in them, and about letting them surrender into that and not be afraid of that, and not to judge that, because I just feel so much now that the masculine power and energy has taken over a little bit, and we need to get back to feeling our true selves. And there's nothing like a powerful woman in her glow. There really isn't.
I absolutely agree. So my sound is normal, speak as little as possible. But tell everyone a little bit more about what it's like to step powerfully into your femininity.
I think we feel like there's this masculine power, and it's a dominant power, and it's a push power. When I see a powerful, and I think powerful is the wrong word, when I see a powerful woman, or a woman I really admire, and she takes my breath away, it's more about her aura. It's more about a self-assuredness, a confidence that comes from her own self-belonging. She knows who she is. She's not afraid to live in that space. In fact, I found a card in a shop, and I thought this kind of said everything. And it says, she was beautiful, but not like those girls in the magazines. She was beautiful for the way she thought. She was beautiful for that sparkle in her eyes when she talked about something she loved. She was beautiful for her ability to make other people smile, even if she was sad. No, she wasn't beautiful for something as temporary as her looks. She was beautiful deep down in her soul. And I think if you found your true femininity and you've let yourself surrender into it, people see you like that. You are beautiful, and there's that innate potency about that. You can influence people, in a lovely way. You have that aura of just being able to step into a room and people see you, they notice you. For a very long time, I thought my femininity and my softness was what was making me hidden. It was making me a wallflower. I was forgettable. I wasn't noticeable. In fact, I realized when I stepped into that person again and let myself be that soft, gentle person full of sensuality, the nurturer in me, the romantic in me, all of those things, the dancer in me, all of the sexiness, that brought forth that kind of aura, that beauty again, and that feeling of being potent and knowing that people were noticing me. And that's what it's about.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. So what kind of women do you work with? Where is the woman generally when she would come to you, and how would you first begin to help her?
I think that feeling of being lost is still a massive thing. I think knowing that they have a conflict inside them, so they could be at the start of their journey and just know that they're lost completely and they don't know where to start. And they could come to me and think, well, I want to know what it is about me that I need to work on, and what bits make me. I want to find my identity. Or it could be someone who is on the journey already of self-development, but I just think, do you know what, I don't know this little hurdle. I don't know what the hurdle is, but I'm not getting past what this is. But it's people who kind of feel in their soul that it's to do with their femininity. It's to do with an essence of being female. Perhaps they're not. Perhaps they're scared that they're not enough in the feminine energy. They're pushing and pushing and stepping into a male energy to get made, because I know we all have high pressure jobs nowadays. The jobs make us feel like we have to step into that male energy. Perhaps they're too much. They feel like they have to be someone else in a different role to be powerful. Or perhaps they're scared of being taken advantage of, and they feel like they're vulnerable in their feminine power, in their feminine state. Or perhaps the other one is judgment. If you find yourself being a very judgmental person of other women, that's when I think you need to step back and think, hang on a minute, what am I not allowing myself, which makes me judgmental of those women, especially things like sexual, the sexual chemistry that women have. I can sometimes see women and tut at ladies who look amazing, and it's something in you there that is mirrored back at you that you need to maybe explore. So if you're judging other women for their innate femininity, the way they dance, sexy on the dance floor, they look great, or they are one of those stay-at-home mums that put everything into their children, you judge them for that, or you judge them for being in a job and having their own business and neglecting their children. Those kind of things, like, maybe say something about your own femininity and where you're not allowing yourself to show up.
Absolutely. I love it. I'd love to talk to you a little bit about the adventure you went on at the beginning of the summer. Because, again, I'm trying not to talk too much because of my sound. But I love the fact that you walk your talk with this stuff. And as I watch you, I watch you really bloom and step into your femininity in so many useful ways. It's incredible. And I love how before summer that you took yourself on it was just so perfect and fabulous. You have to share that.
Well, my ex-husband is away from the country a lot. He lives in China, and for about 6 weeks of the year, I get a little break from my children. I love my children. Being a mother is massive to me, but I know I have to use those times really, really well. And so as soon as I knew that they were going away with their dad for a week, it was like, no, this is my adventure time. That's part of who I am as a woman. And I love a bit of solitude because I'm full-time on the go, mum all the time, businesses all the time. Part of what fuels me is a little bit of solitude and adventure on my own. But I find it very, very difficult to surrender into relaxing. So I have to go away and do that. So I went on a camping trip all by myself, a one-man tent, little camp bed, just the bare necessities, a little stove, my arbonne shakes, so I didn't have to cook that much. So arbonne shakes for breakfast. But every morning I would get up, pack my tent back in the car, and I would explore another city or another place I hadn't been, because I love to wander, and it's almost like I'm trying to find inspiration in those places. I found myself in the male energy for the first half of the week, like pushing, right, I've got to get this done, I've got to get that done, I'm going to see this, I'm going to see that. And in the second week, it was just amazing. I let myself go, and I just went with the flow, and I surrendered, and it was amazing. It was the best half of the week, but I didn't go and explore as much. It was almost like I was exploring myself. I allowed myself that time. I ended up in Glastonbury in a goddess temple, and cried for an hour, and touched something in my femininity to do with spirituality that I hadn't let in for a long time. And I do think something like stepping into the wilderness sometimes as a woman and having that time to explore, that's really, really important. And that's what I help women with me is explore that in a safe way. But obviously, yeah, as you say, I talk the talk and don't do it myself. It was tricky though, surrendering, I must say. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So tell people about your event that's coming up.
Yeah, I was really inspired to do this event. I don't mind the online stuff, and I like connecting with people, and it's great to get on the videos. Nowadays you have videos, that's amazing, but I just felt a call to be in a room with people and ladies, and feel, because there's something about the vibe in a room when you meet other ladies and get together, the sisterhood. That's another thing about femininity I think is really important, is that sisterhood and women together. And that's why I don't like the judgment and that fear around just connecting with other women. I think we compare ourselves far too much. And I say this in my dance classes, I'm a dance instructor as well, and I always say to my women, it's really important as women to put yourself at the top of the list occasionally, once a week for your dance, because we put everyone else above us. And so an in-house event, like going to a place and having a whole day dedicated to you and other women, means that you have put yourself at the top of the list. Just that one day, you can take yourself away from the stresses and strains of your own world, because you kind of get trapped in the version of you that you are at home, don't you? I think you become the role, you become the mother, you become the wife, you become the washing up, you become the to-do list. If you're away from that, you then have the space and the time and the energy in your being to explore who you really are. Because it's not about changing who you are at all. It's not finding out what I want to be and trying to strive for it. It's about discovering who it is in you that you're not really given chance to get out, to let out and surrender to when you're doing the washing up and ferrying kids to school and all of that. So yeah, absolutely. We're going to get together and it's a beautiful venue. We're going to be there for the whole day. And we're going to use what I call the whole woman method together to assess where we are right now in terms of our femininity and stepping into our whole woman. So I call it the whole woman. Other people might call it the divine feminine, something, whatever makes you feel like Wonder Woman, basically, and on top of the world and on top of everything in your life. So we're going to discover where we are now, and then we're going to try and think about how we're going to get to the place that we really know we should be at. And we're going to look at the male and the masculine and female energies and see where there might be a little bit of conflict, where we might be sabotaging ourselves, where we might be misusing our feminine energy. For example, giving ourselves too much in our loving way to other people, and looking at where we might be going too far into the masculine energy, maybe perhaps in our jobs and not switching it off, things like that. And then we're going to make some little goals for ourselves so that we can step into that version of ourselves daily and just creep further and further towards like a 10 out of 10 on the whole woman scale.
I think it sounds amazing. and it's so good. And there's a few words I can't use. Joanne, if people want to know more about it, how can they know more?
So you can hop over to my Facebook page, which is Emergency Without the Drama. In there, you can join the group, the closed group that we've got, Our Emergency Emerging Together. In there, there'll be lots and lots and lots of links like guiding you to that place. There's also a little freebie that I've just put out recently, which is the whole woman method that we'll be using in our event on the day, but which you can try and have a go at yourself at home if you want to. But the link for the event is bit.ly emerge revelation, because it's called the Whole Woman Revelation, and we're going to reclaim our power through the fullest expression of our feminine energy, our feminine identity. So,
amazing. Yeah. If someone could type that in the comments, just say it again, Joanne.
It's called the Whole Woman Revelation, reclaiming your power through your fullest feminine identity, the fullest expression.
And the bit.ly link is bit.ly
/emerge and then revelation.
Nice. Yeah. So I'm still thinking as little as possible. But is there anything else you'd like to share or talk about, Joanne?
No, I just really hope that I get a big group of ladies there together, because I just think the vibe would be so fabulous. And the more women that are there, the more we open up. You know, the safety in numbers, isn't there? So we kind of open up and we let those things out that are troubling us, and we can bounce those ideas back and forth and make each other feel okay about being where we are, because everyone feels the same kind of things, I think. And it's just about talking about them and finding ways around feeling like that and getting rid of that inner conflict.
Yeah. So when we finish this, you can just join and make sure all the links.
Yeah, I'll put it in.
Amazing. Thank you for joining me.
You're welcome.
I adore what you do in the world. It's beautiful. I apologise that my sound sounds terrible. But I definitely go and check out Joanne's page group and have a look at the event. It's going to be an amazing day. Okay, thank you for being here, Joanne.
Very welcome. Hope to see lots of you soon.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.